He's a detective, kids. A detective with a boy, man. Batman with a bomb. And a shark.
Batman with a bomb. That's probably what this will be remembered for.
Batman with a bomb.
Batman with a bomb. Welcome back to They Call Me Uncle.
Today's panel, we'll be talking about a man. The Batman.
Not just any Batman. 60s Batman.
Yep. 1966. Take it away.
Take it away.
Alright. Batman, created in 1939 by Bob Kane and Bill Finger, which sound totally fake, but Bill Finger, Milton Fingers about it. In the case of the Chemical Syndicate. Detective 27.
Detective 27. As a collector, I've actually never seen a Detective 27 in person. But my introduction to Batman came through a TV show. Mm-hmm. So in 1966, there was a TV show called Batman. I probably watched it in reruns into the 70s. It was the Adam West, Burt Ward Batman series. We'd watch it. They would always have 2 episodes. So the first one would cliffhanger, and then the second one, it would get resolved. And so my introduction to Batman was TV. But that's what also inspired me to collect Batman. Batman, like Carter said, started out in detective, started with Detective 27. The oldest detective I have is this one, which is number 278. This is from April 1st of 1960. Jack Miller was the writer. Sheldon Moldoff did the cover. And Joe Certa was the penciler. I actually got this one off eBay. So he ran along in Detective, and then he got his own series, which I've also never seen a Batman #1. Detective 27 is one of the most valuable comics in existence. Right alongside Action #1, which is the first Superman. Those two are like the holy grail of comic book collecting. But Batman got his own series. Detective kept going, and he kept being the star. But my oldest Batman is number 148. This is from June 1st, 1962. Bill Finger is credited as the writer, and Sheldon Moldoff, who did that cover, also did this cover. So those are my 2 oldest Batman comics. These 2 series, I did a query in the database. I have just short of 600 Batman comics in Detective and around 600 Batman comics in Batman. So I have around 1,200 issues of Batman. Now,
where are they?
There's a box over there. So there's quite a few boxes over there that say
Anticlimactic.
Batman. So I've collected a lot of Batman. I started looking for art because we're talking about the 60s Batman. I decided I wanted to find art that showed the Adam West Batman. My favorite Batman artist is Neil Adams, and we're going to cover Batman additional times in additional panels, and we will definitely have one where we focus on Neil Adams. But I wanted to see the Adam West Batman done by an artist that I really like, and so I went looking for an Alex Ross Batman. Now, Alex Ross, this is a more recent comic. Alex Ross, his artwork most of the time looks like photos. I showed some of his art to Mason.
That's me.
That's him.
Yeah.
To kind of get his take, and I always try to show Mason examples of art that I really like, and this cover by Alex Ross is really well done. It's also a crossover with the Green Hornet, who also crossed over in the TV series and then went on to get his own TV series.
For those of you keeping track, that means Batman and Bruce Lee coexisted at one point.
Yeah. Very cool. Because Green Hornet's sidekick, Kato, was played by Bruce Lee, which is awesome. Now Batman's kind of an interesting character. He doesn't have any superpowers.
Except his brain.
and his pornographic amounts of money.
Well, and back then he was a millionaire, which was plenty. In the later stuff, he's a billionaire because
I think it's trillionaire in some of the comics recently now.
Oh, really?
Makes his bat belt even more capable.
Well, and that was the thing, was in the TV series especially, that utility belt seemed to have everything you could ever dream of in it.
I think it was
Schrodinger's bat belt.
Intuition. He's like, I think I'm going to bring this repellent today. I don't know.
Well,
I'm going to take that.
And the only thing that
We're getting into that.
more situational stuff than the utility belt was the Batcave. The Batcave had everything. And what was hilarious was everything is labeled, no matter how obvious it was. And it had a label.
And not even like the little plastic one your mom puts on like the scrapbooks. It was like stenciled.
It's not like that dial label. No, it's full on.
Batman as a superhero is especially impressive because he hangs out with Superman and the Justice League, and he is one of the most respected superheroes in that group, but he has no superpowers.
Batman to all points. I could use some air support, since I can't fly at all.
He has gadgets, he has vehicles, and really, if you think about the superhero weakness, his weakness is he's human. He's just like you and I.
Yeah.
Everything he has, he either developed or he worked for, conditioning his body, learning to fight. Now, I believe his weakness is, and not everybody's going to agree this is a weakness, but he doesn't use guns. If you think about it, most of the villains he battles use guns. And if he just carried a gun. Now, I know there's been storylines where Batman carried a gun. And I know in some of the movies, especially the Batmobile, and in some of the games, basically is a tank with guns.
Yeah.
And
in the games they try to pretend that the Batmobile fires non-lethal rounds or has like a force field that just knocks you over. I call such bull on that.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that's really interesting, and that's as far as a collectible, when we were putting this together, I thought, the collectible everybody wants is the Batmobile.
Of course.
I have this Hot Wheels Batmobile. The Batmobile has kind of taken on a life of its own. I remember watching the Man Show, and on the Wheel of Fortune or something they would do, one of the best things you could win was a ride in the Batmobile.
Just a ride in the Batmobile.
And I can't remember if Adam West was part of the deal, but I think you got to go for a ride in the Batmobile with Adam West.
Robin gets to ride on your lap.
No.
We'll get into that with the movie.
Oh my gosh. And the Batmobile has evolved through the movies, but the TV version is probably still my favorite. I really like the Tim Burton version, and there hasn't been one past that I thought, wow, that's cool, or I need to find that. Yeah. I've always liked the original one. It was on an episode of The Big Bang Theory. Penny actually rents the Batmobile for Leonard, I think to apologize for something.
Aww.
But it's so cool because as soon as you see that car, you know what it is. Whether you ever saw the show or not, the Batmobile has really...
It was on Benchwarmers too. That was the first time I ever saw the Batmobile, was on Benchwarmers.
I forgot about that.
Because he was a super nerd and got a Batmobile. And it was awesome. And Kit from Knight Rider.
Yeah, it's a really common car project. Like gearheads will make their own version of it in like a body kit.
Well, I still remember it from the TV series because they'd go out of the Batcave and they had like a jet on the back and fire and shoot out of it, and the roadblock sign would drop, and it's like so cool. Everybody wanted to drive the Batmobile. Now, what's kind of fun is we talk about video games. In addition, if you want to drive the Batmobile, get Batman Arkham Knight. They have a DLC. They have a lot of DLCs, and one of them is the Batmobile from the TV series. So you get a race around a track in it, and also if you manage to slide it onto the forklift and it lifts it up, a movie screen comes down and they show clips from the TV series.
That was a cool Easter egg.
And I found that on accident. Usually I have to look it up, but I accidentally, I'm a terrible driver. In video games, not in real life. And I slid onto the forklift and it lifted up and there was Adam West and Burt Ward and I got to see a clip of Batman.
Nice.
So if you want to play as this version of Batman, the 60s version, get the game Lego Batman 3 Beyond Gotham. It has DLCs and it has this version of Batman that you can play as. Now, one of the things that's kind of hilarious about that game is there's a scene that Batman's famous for, the 60s Batman, running around with a bomb over his head.
Yeah.
Well, in the Lego games, every character gets 2 attacks or 2 powers. Well, Batman's second power in the game, that Batman, is to pull out a bomb and hold it over his head and then throw it at stuff. And they also, in the TV series, there's an episode where Batman does the Bat Dance. And that game really plays...
No, not in that one.
Not in the movie, but he does in one of the episodes.
There's a bat dance?
Yes.
It's a thing of beauty, man.
I don't know about that. But
look it up.
If you play that game, they really do an homage to the Adam West Batman. They have them all dance, the villains and the heroes. And Batman during the game will sometimes cover his face like Bela Lugosi and move around like Dracula. So there's a lot of really nostalgia and stuff built into that game. And we've also put together a game scoring system similar to our movie scoring system. And we're going to pop up a graphic so you can see that. So both of the games I just mentioned, Lego Batman 3 and Batman Arkham Knight, both score a 4 for me. I have finished those games, bought additional content, and continue to play them. I will get Lego Batman 3 to a 5 someday, but Gotham Knight, not so sure. That's a tough game to 100%. Some of the fights are so hard, I have to recruit Carter. Some of the achievements require you to be perfect and take no damage. That's where Carter comes in.
I'm only good at that one specific part of that game.
So that kind of touches on the comic books. And again, we're kind of keeping our scope down a little bit so we can bring more of these to you and give the topic a lot more depth. We've also talked about collectibles and art. And so tonight, the three of us sat down and watched Batman the movie. This is the 1966 movie, I think came out in July of 66. So the TV series was up and running, and then the movie came out, and I, at the time, was 3. I didn't see it then. I watched it, I didn't see it in the theater. I'm not even positive it went to the theater. But I watched it on TV, and I know my dad was there because there are some scenes from it that I specifically remembered. And at one point, Batman has a shark hanging on his leg, biting on his leg.
Out of nowhere, too.
And he has Robin climb down and hand him shark repellent. And I remember, and I believe this was in the 70s, asking my dad, is there such a thing as shark repellent? Because he has a can, but he had a whole bunch of cans. He had Barracuda repellent. He had a repellent for everything. But he sprays the shark with shark repellent.
Yep.
So
just really quick, it makes me crazy that Robin was this acrobatic person who's supposed to be nimble and is just a pain in the ass getting on that ladder upside down and handing him the shark repellent when it's just like, dude, just toss it.
Just
to
drop-
me. I'll
just
catch
drop
it.
it.
There's a freaking shark on my leg.
Yeah.
And thanks for dipping me in the water anyway.
Yeah, it is Robin's fault because he gets too low on the chopper, dunks Batman, allowing the shark to attach to Batman's leg.
It just came out of nowhere. It was so weird.
I loved it.
But yeah, it was
So,
awesome.
anybody that's seen the TV series, you've essentially seen the movie. The movie, it has, of course, Batman and Robin. It has Commissioner Gordon, Alfred. Alfred actually drives around in the Batmobile wearing a little mask.
They're going stealth mode, so
It was so funny.
in the Batmobile.
They gave us 4 villains. They gave us Catwoman, the Lee Merriweather Catwoman. Burgess Meredith was there as Penguin. Cesar Romero was playing the Joker. And Frank Gorshin was playing the Riddler. And that was a really good, those are probably the 4 best known of the Rogues Gallery. Now, one thing about that is,
I didn't know they had a group. I thought they were all just individual.
they usually didn't work as a group. That's what kind of sets the movie apart, was they had teamed up. And it was interesting because they kind of team up. It seemed like Penguin was in charge, but they used all of their little tropes from the TV series. You had the Bat Boat, the Bat Plane, the Bat Plane wasn't in it. The Bat Helicopter, the Bat Cycle,
Bat ladder.
the Bat Ladder,
The Bat Ladder.
the Batmobile. They had Bat everything going on. They
Everything had Bat.
One of my favorite scenes is Batman running around holding a bomb that is shaped like a bomb.
That is the
Like
best.
Legend of Zelda, just this bomb just...
And the fuse seemed to last forever.
And he's running all over this pier, just trying to find somewhere to shut this bomb. And it's always something, like he turns a corner and it's nuns. He turns another corner, it's a woman with a baby. And then he finally gets to the water and there's just a bunch of ducks down there.
Fake ducks.
Fake ducks, yes. It's just this silent comedy, Buster Keaton stuff, and I loved every second of it.
It was great.
It was great. And, the villains are campy. The villains have no superpowers either. It's kind of sad because you look at it and it's like, well, these are...
I think they all had Tourette's though. One was meowing all the time,
Yeah.
uncontrollably.
It was crazy.
Penguin was making penguin noises.
And they do the thing where Batman and Robin climb up the side of a building, and somebody always looks out a window and comments on that or talks to them. They did that. And then they had one fight scene where, it must have been great being a stuntman on there, because when they'd throw a punch, they would come nowhere near anybody, and then the big pow and zap and sock.
Things that human punches don't make.
Wow.
And so
Zerp.
what's kind of funny is there is nobody ever really hits anybody. There's no blood. I mean, it was very friendly unless you're really paying attention. There's a guy that gets blown up. A shark got blown up.
Yeah.
Porpoise.
A porpoise.
The 5 guinea pig guys got disintegrated.
Oh yeah. Yeah, all 5 of those people who got dehydrated were
Dehydrated.
just incinerated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks all the water out of your body and leaves you a little pile of smoker ash on the floor.
And what's funny
It's
is,
terrifying to think of.
clear back from the 70s, I remembered the shark, I remembered the bomb, and I remembered the guinea pigs. The guys, guinea pigs, not actual rodents,
Yeah, it's like this.
disappearing. And so it was very memorable, and it was a lot of fun. It was really fun watching it with these guys. They hadn't seen it, and we laughed through a lot of it. We did make fun of parts of it, but it was fun.
But
It
in
was a
good way.
ball.
In a good way. We enjoyed it.
And so that's kind of my review on it. Mason, you got any additional thoughts on it? We'll give you our scores here in a sec.
I guess, well, from somebody from our generation, our Batman has always been dark as night.
Yeah.
Of course, there was not one night scene in that whole thing, the darkest part of that
There
place.
was night, but your point still stands.
Oh yeah, when they were in like the carriage and
Yeah.
when they went to...
Oh, he was on a date though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which, ironically, he was as Bruce Wayne, so Batman
wasn't in the dark.
ever.
Yeah. So
Bright a day.
it's strange seeing the bright baby blue behind Batman all the time.
Yeah.
Because you never see Batman not perched,
On like a
waiting
gargoyle or something.
to pounce on crime.
Yeah.
So that was strange. Also in this, I realized, I know this sounds bad, but I realized that Batman is a detective.
Batman and Robin are fully deputized agents of the law.
I never knew that before. I
Well-
always thought he was just a
Vigilante.
vigilante philanthropist who just takes matters into his own hands. I never thought he was a detective until I watched this show, and I was like, whoa, he's a detective.
Yeah, super bright guy.
Yeah.
Well, and the police commissioner points out that they are deputized law enforcement officers.
Yeah, they were really nice.
It was
both
very
of them.
pro-police.
I
Support
think that
your
was a
kinda
censors thing.
I don't know. I thought that was kind of nice.
But then everybody's, and like Christopher Nolan's Batman was the only one that I've been, what's it called? Exposed to, not exposed. That's very
No,
harsh.
it's not weird unless you make it weird.
Yeah,
It
she
works.
made it weird.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was the only Batman that I've really been around. Is like Dark Batman, Batman Beyond, just everything like
Animated
techno
series.
Batman. So this was really bright lights, bright colors, bright characters.
Colorful villains.
Yeah, very,
Yeah.
very
Literally colorful.
Literally
yes.
colorful.
But
Psychedelic even.
what else? That was the first time I've ever seen Adam West, other than in Family Guy, being the mayor and stuff,
Right.
which I'm assuming is because Seth MacFarlane really loves the old Batman, which makes
What's
sense.
not to
That was
love?
good.
So, I guess those are some of the things that I saw. I like the penguin submarine.
Yeah.
It was adorable, and
Not just the penguin's possessive submarine, penguin-shaped submarine.
yeah, with
Had
its
little flippers.
little
It was adorable.
Exactly. Yeah, and then people dying off screen, and that guy being catapulted and blown up.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Carter?
I took notes.
Nice.
Take us through.
Take us through.
Happily. Like, the opening was just awesome. Because it's like just all psychedelic and a spotlight just highlighting everyone.
What was out of the spotlight?
Yeah.
I never know.
The vault of horrors just beyond the sight of man.
Graffiti on the wall.
That ironically thanking the law enforcement community or something.
In graffiti. Yeah.
Yeah, now that is irony.
That's art.
And in the next very 5 minutes is the famous Bat versus the Shark.
Yep.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And then I just wrote masks are useless. Like little Burt Ward having this little slip of a necktie over his eyes, basically.
It's like, hey, aren't you that kid that hangs out with that billionaire?
Yeah.
Where's your parents?
Yeah.
A tragic accident.
Yeah. And then villain group therapy.
Which was tragic.
And then a point that will come up a lot in that movie is you'll hear a term plot-induced stupidity a lot when we talk about movies. This is like an instance of plot-induced brilliance. Because, like, Adam West's Batman is famous for, like, some insane logical leaps.
Yeah, they automatically know what the problem is
Well,
and how to solve it.
the Riddler's riddles were so...
Obscure.
They weren't as bad as the solutions. The solution was like... How... Yeah.
only remembered like one of them. How do you split 16 apples to 17 people?
That was the best one.
Applesauce.
Applesauce.
And it was
Easy.
like, okay.
Yeah.
But they were coming up with them before you even have time to think about it.
Alright, next. Is Mason going to Deus Ex Dolphina? Because off screen this happens. Like Batman and Robin are about to get blown up by a torpedo, and later, it just cuts to later, and Batman's like, that brave dolphin just sacrificed itself to save us.
Nowadays, the animal rights people would lose their mind.
First a blowing up shark.
Blowing an
Within-
explosive shark.
Within 15 minutes of each other.
Yeah.
Bizarre evil plot. Astounding logical leaps. And this one line that Batman has when he's on a date with secretly Catwoman. Like he's pretending to fall asleep and he's like, having a dream. It approaches the climax. And he says it in all seriousness. Like, we almost had to pause it. I was laughing so hard. Because I'm a pervert. Then we had
creative.
rocket-powered umbrellas.
Editing going on.
Nope.
Then the double punch.
Yeah,
It was like the Hydra salute. Like,
yeah, he double punched him right out of the
A
door
whole group of them.
and then ran past him. It was great.
dusting the pirates with the oxygen destroyer. That's not what it's called, but I got Godzilla on the brain.
Yeah.
The bat and the bomb. That was a 5-star moment, I think, for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it gets super dark quickly because something I noticed in the movie is Robin is completely amoral.
Yeah.
Like, he does not care about civilian life.
He's got some bad ideas.
Wait 1 second. Backtrack to the bomb really quick. This is just
Yes.
a thought that I had. I think an homage to that at the ending of the third Christopher Nolan Batman.
Oh.
Man takes a bomb with a helicopter away from the city.
Yeah,
Do
he
you
does.
think that was because of that moment with the bomb as an homage, a last call to Batman for him?
I want that to be the
That
case.
would be cool.
It was about as ridiculous, Nolan.
That's just, it was one of my thoughts. I was like, Batman, bomb, yes.
Oh, yeah.
And yes, Robin is a little psychopath. But that aren't all teenagers. Why do you have a teenager with you all the time?
My fan theory is it's Jason Todd, not Dick Grayson. Because Jason Todd was the little psycho of the Robins. This was before the character was invented, obviously, but anyway. Then I just put God Bless the 60s, and then the famous scenes with lots of running stock footage. Like Batman and Robin running in place while like a cityscape is behind them. Color-coded powder diplomat.
Pixie sticks.
Pixie sticks.
Like, that is the bad guy's end game, is they're using the oxygen destroyer thing, whatever it's called. I don't care what it's called. It's just
The dehydrator.
the dehydrator, yes.
Which now is in,
It was labeled.
oh, yeah.
It was labeled, yeah. So,
Everything's labeled.
so poo on me, but
I feel like that was the 60s though. Labeling things.
their master plan was to dehydrate all the world leaders and hold them ransom from their respective countries.
I wonder if you ate some of the powder.
We are not going to talk about
Rehydrated inside you.
Oh. Now you're Cronenberging it. Oh.
Joker is somehow the voice of reason among these people.
Yes.
Yeah, the Riddler was crazy.
The Riddler, Frank Gorshin is one of my favorites because he does crazy really well.
Yeah, he just ran with it.
Yeah.
He's a treasure. And then the pow, whap, thwap.
Yeah.
Like,
I was waiting for that because all the other fights they didn't do it. So I was looking forward to
It's
that.
sad that everybody got wet except Catwoman.
Yeah, they made like a point of that.
Yeah.
But my theory is her
Everybody
big,
fell in.
poofy 60s hair would have just
Oh, yeah.
broke physics.
Disintegrated. Rehydrated.
Holy specific gadgets, Batman! Like, at one point in time, some idiot mixes up the powders of all these world leaders. But of course, Batman has a designed, functional, and clearly labeled, of course, like, particle sorter device. So he can microscopically sort these people into the right vials.
I wonder if he puts the labels on or if Alfred comes and switches it for the scene.
Someone has like some dangerous OCD in Wayne Manor.
Yeah, it's like Double D. Ed and Eddie.
Yeah,
With
yes.
sticky notes.
Sticky note. Yep. And finally, I got lost in the philosophical questions. Like, the big funny end twist is when they finally rehydrate all the world leaders, get them back to human form,
Spoiler alert.
raise them from the dead, basically.
Right?
Like, the joke is some of them start speaking each other's languages, so it's implied that they mixed up the powder.
Yeah.
And it's like, that is some Cronenberg crap right there. You just swapped souls with them, basically.
Yeah.
And Batman and Robin just covertly edge out the window.
And yeah, they rappel down the window of the skyscraper to get away from everybody. Because they know they effed up.
They just started World War 3 through 4.
Or
and
they
5.
saved the world.
Or, yeah.
Question mark. At the end.
And really, I think that's what makes it fun is, we talk sometimes about things being campy. And when you make something campy, really all logic and reason go out the window.
We don't miss it.
It was
And that's what's
a
fun.
fun movie.
Yeah,
it was fun
it's
to
true.
watch. So we're going to show you our scoreboard. So I gave Batman the movie a 3.429, moving it to position 1 of the 3 movies we've seen, and position 1 of the superhero movies. Mason gave it 3.762. Carter gave it 3.667. It moved to the number 1 position for all 3 of us, both in the superhero category and of the 3 movies we've watched.
Yeah.
So we all appreciated Batman, and there were at least scenes in there that we would watch again, given the opportunity.
It was the first one we had with this system that had 5-star moments for me.
Same.
Yeah, it was fun, and we enjoyed it. Now, casting-wise, since this is our first Batman panel, we could cast anyone. I sat down, gave it a lot of thought. I like to cast somebody that physically looks like the character. I like... Plus, I've been exposed to Batman's both the campy Adam West era.
Those are good words.
I know you can
use my word.
all the way through to the Ben Affleck era. And so I managed to find an actor who could probably work in either type of movie.
Campy or badass.
Campy or dark and brooding.
Brutal.
And I'm going to say right now, Warner Brothers, if you cast anybody as an older, retired Batman, it needs to be Bruce Campbell.
Oh
Yes!
Am I right?
You did it, Bruce.
Am I right? Bruce Campbell. With that jawline and that
Damn it.
Titans cast
Ian Glenn.
Ian Glenn, who I like Ian Glenn.
Yeah.
But man, was that a missed opportunity. You throw Bruce Campbell in there and it becomes iconic.
Yeah.
I would have loved Bruce Campbell.
Now, I was telling my wife
That was
that
good.
Bruce Campbell was my pick. Her pick, by the way, is Colin Farrell.
Oh.
Not
Okay,
a bad pick.
okay.
But my wife has
Colin.
never seen Bruce Campbell in anything where it wasn't really
Gory?
comedy.
Oh.
She hasn't seen the Evil Dead stuff.
Oh.
But I have seen Briscoe County Jr., and we are actually going to do a panel on that show because I'm sure these guys haven't heard of it.
Nope.
I'm listening to his audiobook right now.
To
Bruce Campbell's.
Bruce Campbell.
Nice.
Briscoe County Jr., he played a relatively serious character. He was also in Congo, where he was a serious character, but he seriously got killed off screen in the first little bit, which was too bad. But yes, Bruce Campbell should, if they do Batman Beyond, which takes place in the future and has a retired Batman, no one but Bruce Campbell.
Yes.
All right,
I love it.
Carter.
I can't top that.
I know.
Man,
Nobody can.
if Carter can't top it, or Mason,
No, I just love
I'm
that
feeling
idea.
really good about my,
Oh yeah,
my
that was
pick.
really good.
Back then, Dean Martin. Swapping. I'm stealing your Iron Man pick.
You know what? That really works for me too. Yeah, that's good. And I do like Dean Martin in anything.
Yes.
Mason, what did the cats have to say today?
Chris Pine.
Oh. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah, I thought about it on the way down.
He could probably play it today too.
I know.
Yeah.
Right?
Because
But
next time we do Batman,
He
we
could
gotta
do
the
campy
cast
and
today.
he could do badass.
That he can. Although, tragically, he's been sullied by Wonder Woman 84
But that's okay.
He could get
He could still do it.
multiverse, where Steve Trevor is now Batman.
Yep. And hooks up with Wonder Woman and then too.
Of course.
And the invisible jet.
In the Batplane.
Yeah, forget the
What were
invisible
you
jet.
talking
Both of
about
them.
that if you did something, you'd get an ugly baby?
A lot of things.
I know, but you said that just before we started.
It was about Burgess Meredith.
I don't remember.
I don't either. Now, one thing.
It was if Willy Wonka
Oh. Yeah, if Willy Wonka and the Monopoly Man had a baby, it would be the penguin on this Batman movie. But like,
We've got the mathematical formula right here.
because it was evil and just like had all this stuff, and then it was kind of Willy Wonka-ish with his top hat and always smoking craziness.
Ugh.
They make Robin ride in Penguin's lap. You watch the film.
They catch Penguin and knock him out, but it's a 2-seater car, so they have to have Robin sit in Penguin's lap.
Yeah. And I will never unsee that.
Because when you realize it, you're like, he is totally sitting in Penguin's lap.
Yeah, well, I was wondering where he was going to sit. You said he's going to sit on his lap.
Why didn't they put him in the trunk? Not
There isn't
not
a trunk,
Robin.
that's where the jet engine is.
Oh,
Yeah.
they have some sort of trunk in there. They should. If not, then it's a total waste of space.
You have Barracuda and shark repellent, but you don't have a trunk in the
Labeled
car.
trunk.
You do have back cuffs.
Yeah. Which Robin put on the front instead of the back of Catwoman. Stupid, she could still claw your face off.
Yeah.
What? Never mind. I'm overanalyzing it too much. I loved
Yeah.
it. And Catwoman
Train of
was
thought
super hot.
derailed.
So, okay. Yeah.
Now, something I wanted to point out that we will edit in here
They
somewhere.
used a real cat.
They did. They kept throwing it. But
It was pissed.
It was a good cat.
So this was the first superhero movie that I had seen, and is really the earliest one I'm even aware of, and this was 1966. We wouldn't see a superhero movie in the theater that I can think of until 1978 with Superman, the Christopher Reeve Superman. In between that time, there were a few TV movies that were really pilots for superhero shows that I watched. Captain America, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Hulk are all, good catch,
Yes.
are all superhero movies that were started off as TV movies, and we will be covering those. But Batman was the first comic book oriented superhero movie I saw, and was the inspiration for an awful lot of Batman collecting.
Yeah.
But did you know who was not in the movie? Batgirl.
Oh no, there was no Batgirl.
There was a plan to have a second movie to introduce Batgirl.
Denied.
It never happened, so they introduced her in the TV series.
I would have totally picked Batgirl over Bat Robin.
Oh,
I mean, just
absolutely.
Robin. Damn it.
Now you're doing it without realizing.
No,
I can't Bat help it.
This is a batastrophe.
Stop it.
Oh,
I'm just glad you guys enjoyed it.
It was a
Oh, yeah.
blast.
it was weird. It was like being in Chuck E. Cheese as a kid. It was weird,
He's not far off.
and it smelled weird, and you knew something was wrong with this place, but everything lit up, and you just wanted to touch everything.
Yeah.
Do you think Batman and Robin got a little too close on that rope?
Oh yeah.
I don't want to think about that.
Well, it's because it was widescreen. They had to be close together.
How many people do you think Batman has accidentally killed?
Tons. Just in the Arkham games, like
Oh my god.
someone did a review of those and an analysis with like a trauma surgeon. He's like, he just uppercuts somebody so hard that it sends them off their feet. That would break your neck all the way back.
That game is brutal.
So,
Like, I'm sure Batman accidentally kills a lot of people.
or like just paralyzes them. If you think,
Yeah.
maybe that's a little worse than death. He's like, I won't kill you, but I'll send you to purgatory in your own body, your own mind.
Oh.
Yeah, terrible. Do you ever think Catwoman and Batman ever do it?
Oh, constantly. It depends on the comic, but yeah, they even got married in one.
Because we were talking about this, and
I thought he'd end up with Talia al Ghul.
Yeah.
thank you for joining us on today's Bat Panel. We hope you Bat-liked it. And please leave us a Bat-like or a Bat comment in the below downstairs with us in this basement. And we Bat appreciate it.
We will see you next Bat time.
Same
Bat channel.
Place. Sure.
Channel.
Channel.
Same bat
Playlist.
basement. I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
You're Batman.
We're all Batman.
Aren't we all?
Where are they?
Where is he?